All right, shalom, and welcome to GMS Info Doc Channel 2. Tonight's lesson is going to be about the tree of knowledge and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because the brother had asked us to do it before, and we wanted to do it, but we had to do the mixed seed, no such thing video, because you had a lot of guys out there that are pushing these false teachings, these false prophets out there that's pushing these false teachings, and telling you that this, if you're a mixed seed or if you're a half breed and all that BS, that you're not an Israelite, which is all bullshit. So we covered that, so now we're going to cover this. But what I want to say real quick is you got this guy out there called the Wisdom Seeker 77, and he's saying that the reason why we did that show with the mixed seed was because of him. First of all, nigga, we wasn't even thinking about you, all right? I don't even know who the hell you are.
Yeah, this is news to me.
You made that video, this almost hour-long video, talking about how we did that show because of you. No, we didn't. I mentioned in the show, we mentioned in the show who we were talking about. We were talking about that one clowns like GMS, former GMS, Free Now, some crap like that, and other clowns out there. We weren't even thinking about you.
Yeah, so, don't flatter yourself.
Exactly. You're giving yourself too much credit, patting the back. You were the furthest thing from our mind.
But if you got cut, then it's all good too. Because obviously you got cut.
Yeah, because the lesson is plain. But anyway, enough of that. We just want to get into this topic real quick. So we're going to deal with the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because we dealt with Genesis, the 2nd chapter, the breakdown. And in that chapter, we mentioned that the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or the tree of knowledge, was a zodiac sign. And the brother had asked, that how do you break that down? So I sent him a message back. I gave him a couple of scriptures, but I guess he really didn't get it. So the Spirit showed me, just do it. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna get started in the book of Genesis, the 2nd chapter. We're going to read the 8th and the 9th verse, and we're going to get it rolling.
Come. It's the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 8. And the Lord Yahweh planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed.
Right, so we already know that the word Eden, from the Hebrew word Aidan, means paradise of joy, and the Lord made a garden in the middle of Eden, and that's where he put the man, which is over there in the Middle East. Go ahead.
It says, and out of the ground made the Lord Yahweh to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food.
And that's plain. Go ahead.
The tree of life also in the midst of the garden.
Now the tree of life represents the knowledge of righteousness. All right, which we're going to get into. And go ahead.
Right. In the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Right, now the tree of knowledge of good and evil is both sides of the spectrum, because you got good and you got evil. And we read to you, I believe in the lesson of Genesis, the 2nd chapter, we read to you in the book of the Apocrypha, where the Lord showed man both good and evil. All right, because that was we have to know both sides in order to be able to correctly judge. So if you never experienced one side of it, you're not going to be able to judge it correctly. All right. So now,
got a quick precept.
Yeah, bring it out.
This is in the book of Romans. Not sure if this one, but Romans chapter 8 and
20.
Yep. Come. It says for Romans chapter 8 verse 20, for the creature was made subject to vanity.
Right, the creature was man when he was created, Adam. Was made subject to vanity, which basically fell upon all of us. In other words, the Most High made him to go off. Go ahead.
Not willingly.
Not willingly, because he didn't want to go off, but the Lord put in his programmed it in his spirit to do that. Go ahead.
But by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope.
That's right, because the Most High creates both sides. Now, since you read that, we can go to the Apocrypha in the book of Sirach, chapter 17. I believe it's chapter 7. No, is it chapter 17? Yep. And read the point.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 17, verse 7. Withal he filled them with the knowledge of understanding.
Right, meaning man. Go ahead.
and showed them good and evil.
And showed them good and evil. So Adam was shown the good side, and he was also shown the evil side. All right. So now, go from there to the book of Isaiah 45 and 5. You know, just to give you some understanding that the Most High creates both sides. You got people out here. You got these Edomites out here, and you got these so-called scholars out here that say that evil and wickedness is from Satan and all that crap. And the Most High creates both sides, and you have to understand that. In order for you to really fully get a good understanding of it, you have to understand that the Most High creates both sides. He's perfectly balanced. Go ahead, brother.
Come. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girded thee, that though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness.
Right, so the Most High said he forms the light and he creates darkness. Go ahead.
I make peace and create evil.
So the Most High makes peace and he creates evil. Go ahead.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
Right, so the Most High is doing all these things. Matter of fact, since you go to Amos chapter 3, verse 6, you know, because the Most High works on both sides of the spectrum, but he's not doing it himself, because the scriptures say that the Most High is pure. He's of purer eyes and to behold iniquity. You know, he doesn't do any wickedness, but he created both sides. That's why you have the right hand side and you have the left hand side. As a matter of fact, after you finish that, you can go to Ecclesiastes. Read that.
Okay. Amos chapter 3, verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid?
Right, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Meaning, whenever there's some type of catastrophe, you have a trumpet to be blown. You know, people are getting nervous. But in the ancient world, you had things like you might be going to war against a nation, and you have the trumpet give the alarm of war, and people got nervous. You know? So it says, shall a trumpet be blown and the people not be afraid? Go ahead.
Shall there be evil in a city and the Lord hath not done it?
Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord hath not done it? So who did that? The Most High did it. But he didn't do it himself. He had the angels that did it. Matter of fact, go to what is that? 1 Kings 22 and 19. You know, so because you have to understand that the Most High creates both sides. He controls both sides. He created Satan. Matter of fact, Satan is one of the sons of the Most High. So he got angels on the right hand side and he has angels on the left hand side. And he sends them on people. You know, he sends the righteous angels to watch over the elect, and he sends the wicked angels to do damage. You know, sometimes the righteous angels get down and do damage. You know, but the righteous angels, some of them are set up just to watch over the elect. Go ahead, brother.
1 Kings chapter 22, verse 19. And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne.
Right, so the Most High was sitting on his throne. Go ahead.
And all the hosts of heaven.
Right, and all the hosts of heaven. Go ahead.
Standing by him.
Standing by him, so this was a council they were having. Go ahead.
On his right hand.
On his right hand.
And on his left.
And on the left. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
Right, because Ahab was a wicked king. So the Lord, the Most High, was asking the council on the right hand and on the left hand that who's going to go down and persuade Ahab that he may fall at Ramoth Gilead. And they were all given their opinion, you know. Okay, I will do this and I will do that, you know. So the Most High was listening to them. Go ahead.
And one said, I'm this man. And another said, I'm that man.
Right, so they were given their you know, I'll do this, Lord, and I make him do this, and so they were given the Lord their opinion, you know, examples of what they would do. Okay.
And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. Mm-hmm. Hey, and if I may say this just as not to go too far off, but That's why a lot of these movies you might see with these Greek mythology, like the Clash of the Titans, which that was really Israelites, which were in Hellenists or in the Greek philosophy, Greek mind state, that created all that whole Greek mythology about Zeus and everything. But anyway, they'll show you the council that of the gods, Zeus and all these other people that be sitting there talking to Zeus. Forgive me, Zeus. And they'll sit there and be talking to him, saying what they want to do or whatever, and then Zeus is like the head over the other gods. Well, this is where they get that concept from.
Yeah, because they know the Bible. That's why they, like you said, that's how they get the council. And then what happens after that? They do whatever it is that was set forth at the council.
Right.
Go ahead.
So now, verse 21. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith?
Right, so the Lord said, how are you going to do this? Go ahead.
And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
Right, he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. So that was one of the angels on the left-hand side. Now let's see what the Most High told his angel concerning that. Because he said, I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets. So now, the Most High should jump up and say, you're going off. You can't be lying. One of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not lie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also.
So the Most High told him, you're going to persuade him, you're going to lie to him, and you're going to prevail also. So the Most High creates both sides, so you can understand. You know? And as you read the story on what you brothers can read it, he persuaded Ahab to go, and he finally went to the battle, and what happened? He got put to death. Alright, so now we're going to deal with the, because we read in the book of Genesis, the 2nd chapter, about the tree of life and the tree of life of good and evil. Now let's go to Revelation 22:1, because that right there, you know, that's the best, one of the best scriptures that you could use to explain the tree of knowledge or the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Alright? Because when you look up into the heavens, all the stars and the constellations, the sun, the moon, everything that you see up there, they're up there to give light upon the earth, but they're also set up to give for signs, seasons, days, and years. Matter of fact, you can bring that out. Alright? They're not just up there to look pretty. You know, they're up there to give light upon the earth, and then they're also up there for signs, seasons, days, and years, you know, and you can know if you're going to have a good crop this year or a bad crop. You know, you can know what pattern the weather's going to take. You can see certain events in the heavens. Certain things are coming to pass. If you see a lunar eclipse, or if you see a solar eclipse, you know, you can. All these things are in the heavens for a purpose and a reason. Now, part of it can be used for righteousness, like we use in the ancient world. And then it could also be used in wickedness. That's right. That's what you call the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which good and evil is both contained in the scriptures. Go ahead, brother.
That's right. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. It says, in the power is said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night.
Go ahead.
And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Right, so these lights were put in the heavens to be for signs, seasons, days, and years, and also to give light upon the earth. Now, the tribe of Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans, which the Mayas, they were able to read the stars. That's why Esau's going all crazy and nuts over the Mayan calendar. No, because they were able to read the stars. Why? Because the Lord gave them that knowledge. We all had that knowledge in the past, but we lost it.
Yeah.
But now that when the time is coming when the Lord is going to give us all that back. You know? Go ahead, brother.
Right. It says
you were looking for something?
Oh no, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll read this.
You got something? Bring it out. Yeah, bring it out.
Psalms 104, and I'll start at verse 19. It says, he appointed the moon for seasons.
That's right.
The sun knoweth his going down.
Right.
Thou makest darkness, and it is night, when all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. The young lions roar after their prey and seek their meat from the Most High. The sun ariseth, they gather themselves together and lay them down in their den. Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening. O Lord, how manifold are thy works!
That's right.
In wisdom hast thou made them all. And
right.
which what the Lord was speaking about the constellation, the sun, moon, and stars.
Yep.
Which the brother was just going into the different zodiac signs and stuff. And as we read in Genesis, which were for a sign and seasons.
Yep.
So that's why I said, how manifold are thy works, and in wisdom madest thou them all. Because why? If you have the knowledge of reading the stars, you could be able to forecast, or you'll be wise unto what's about to happen, that there's going to be a famine, or it's going to be a bad year for planting or cropping.
That's right.
You know? And that's why the so-called white man has set up prognosticators,
yep.
so-called psychics,
yep.
that read the stars and everything. Okay, the stars are aligned such and such. Or that means that it's going to be a bad year, or it's going to be doom is coming. But now the Most High darkened their eyes, so they can't get it straight.
Right. Which we're going to get that. We're going to get that, and the brother's right, because that's what Esau is using right now. He's using the tree of knowledge of good and evil,
right?
Which is what Adam, beginning with Eve, which was what Eve and Adam got into. I had to say it that way because she was first in the transgression, you know. So that's what they were delving into, the left hand side, the knowledge of good and evil. All right, go ahead, brother. We're gonna get into Esau and his witchcraft and because that's what you got going. That's what you got ruling today, the left hand side of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Go ahead.
Okay.
Revelation 22:1.
Come, Revelation 22:1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb.
Right, so this was John on the island of Patmos looking up into the heavens, and the reason why he said clear as crystal was because he actually was able to see the ozone layer. The Lord showed him the ozone layer, which was clear as crystal around the earth, and he saw right into the heavens. He said he saw a pure river of living water. Now that pure river of living water was space, and the stars and the constellations up there. Matter of fact, Genesis, there you go, Genesis 1 and 1. 1 and 2.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. And the earth was...
Start the first one.
Okay, Genesis 1 and 1. In the beginning, the powers created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
That's space. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. Go ahead.
And the spirit of the powers moved upon the face of the waters. And
the spirit of the powers moved upon the face of the waters, meaning the elements that were out in space. Now the elements were there. Everything was there. The stars and moons and everything. Everything was out there, but it was just in its element stage or element form. So you couldn't really see it. Go ahead.
And the power said, let there be light. And there was light.
Right. So the first thing they created was the light. But the point is that they moved through the waters.
Right.
Which is what? In the heavens, in space. That's where you get the word Shemayim, which means heavens, means the Shah at the beginning of a word, if it's not connected to the word, means pertaining to or which. And then Mayam is waters, pertaining to the waters. What waters was that talking about? The waters in the heavens, which is the elements up there in the stars. So when you look, when John, matter of fact, read that again in Revelation 22. So when John was looking up, that's what he saw. He saw everything up there. Go ahead.
Yeah, because this is a footnote, because the earth doesn't, the sun gives the earth light.
That's right.
To let you know it's daytime. But in outer space, or in the, outside of the ozone layer,
right.
The outer atmosphere, they call it, I believe, it has its own light.
That's right.
Okay? Because that light was created before the sun was created.
That's right. All
right, so some people, they try to have you think that the sun is what gives you your light. No, it's the sun gives light to the earth, but it's already a light out in outer space, man.
Yeah, that's why when you look up into the heavens, you can see lights.
Right
there.
At night.
And contrary to popular belief, the sun revolves around the earth, not the other way around.
Right.
Because the sun was created, the earth was created before the sun. And the sun has a cycle around the earth, not the other way around.
Right.
I just wanted to throw that out.
Earth is the center of the universe. And now as John is looking at it, he's basically, like, if you ever looked at the stars, especially brothers that are down, like you went either up in the mountainous regions, or if you're like in the islands more so, or like in Florida.
Right.
But even up in the cities, you see it on a clear night. if you look in the heavens, you see the stars and the constellations. You go, that what Esau calls, say, oh, that's the Big Dipper,
right?
Or that's this sign, or the North Star.
The North Star, yep.
That's so pretty much John is seeing that. There's a layer there, which is clear as crystal as we're reading in Revelation. Yep. But John, that's what John's seeing, but he's describing it.
That's right.
All right.
Now from there, before you read on, go to Psalms 19:1.
Okay.
Now the book of Psalms 19:1, we call that the internet scripture. Now Psalms 19:1 and 2 is twofold. You know, the first fold is talking about the actual
sun.
You know, the sun, moon, stars, and then the other fold is talking about the satellites.
Yep.
You know, with the knowledge being taught. But we're gonna go into the first fold. The first fold. Go ahead, brother.
Psalms chapter 19, verse 1. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of the Most High."
Right. That's why you see what you see in the stars. Now, if our eyes were open, we would be able to look up into the heavens right now and see what's coming next down the pike.
Yep.
But we don't have that technology right now. We don't have that wisdom right now. The Lord got to give it back to us.
Right. And the proof of that, real quick, is during the time was it Elijah or Elisha when the servant was, I think it was Elisha.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
And he thought
the servant was nervous.
He was nervous because they was outnumbered.
Right.
Then Elisha prayed to the Most High to open his eyes so he could see that there was more with them than was the host that was coming against them.
Yep.
Then he opened up his eyes and he seen there was a whole lot of chariots, angels, UFOs.
Yep.
All right. So that's just to back up what the brother just said.
That's right.
You know. Okay. So now it says, "The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork." Psalms 19:2. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge.
Right, that's twofold. Like we said, you have the fold with the internet being broadcasted throughout the world and teaching and bringing out the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. But also when you look up into the heavens, the stars, the moon, the sun, and all that, they showing their handiwork every day. Read that again.
It says, "The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork."
Go ahead.
Day unto day uttereth speech.
Right. Day unto day uttereth speech. So if we were able to read the stars, we'd be able to know what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or the week after or so on and so forth. Go ahead.
Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge.
Right. And night after night showeth knowledge. Because that's what they were created for signs, seasons, days, and years. Now, let's go from there to the book of John 7:38. Because that's one fold of it, you know, which is the heavens. That's the waters up there. All right. So we want to go into the fold with the heavens being the waters. You know, the stars, the moon, the sun, the elements in the heavens, the space, the deep. You know what Esau calls the Milky Ways and the constellations and the zodiac and all that. But now also the Revelation 22 is also speaking about the knowledge. You know, the actual knowledge of righteousness, which is what we're coming back to right now. Go ahead, brother.
St. John chapter 7 verse 38. "He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water."
Right, so he that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water, which is the knowledge coming out in abundance to teach, to wake brothers back up. And that's what we're doing right now. So, yeah, go ahead, brother.
No, if I may add, because like the scripture said, when it says, "Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water," that's not talking about the actual man's, what we call stomach or his belly.
Right.
And the actual water's coming out, that's symbolic.
Right. Yep.
Which the belly is the belly of your mind, talking about your mind. And the living waters, like the brother said, is knowledge. So now the tree, back to the tree of the tree of life, it wasn't no action, as figuratively speaking.
That's right.
It's, you know, it's symbolic. In other words, there wasn't no actual tree where you could go and get a magical apple,
or
some bullshit like that.
That was righteous fruit on that tree, but on this tree, if you eat that tree, you got to make sure you eat the right fruit, because if you eat the other fruit, that's evil. Right. Like the brother's right. You know, it was symbolic.
Symbolic.
Certain things in the scriptures are symbolic. Other things are literal. You know, so you got the two sides. You got the heavens, which is waters, and you have the knowledge of righteousness, which is also waters. And the reason why we're breaking it down like that to you, so you can get the full picture.
Yep.
All right, now let's go back to Revelation. So we've done in
That's in
Psalms.
Psalms, okay.
Go back to Revelation 22 and 2.
Okay, Revelation chapter 22, verse 2. It says, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits.
Right, so as John was looking up, he called the heavens like a street. On either side of the street, there was, read it again.
Right, it says, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life.
Right, the tree of life was up there. So he was able to see. So when you look up at the constellations, that's the tree of life. You know, the tree of life is also contained in the scriptures.
If I may say,
yeah, go ahead, brother.
About and like I said again, going back to like a clear night, you can see the sometimes you can see the stars. They look like they like right there on you.
Right.
You know, how like the clouds sometimes might look close, like they almost tangible.
Yep.
Like
sometimes it look like the moon is following.
Yeah. Like, but it look like it's that close.
Yep.
So that's why he said on either side. On either side of the ozone layer, he could see it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So that. You have to picture that, you know. So that's why we're trying to paint the picture for you, so that you can see and understand what John was talking about. Go ahead, brother.
It says, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits.
Right. Now that 12 manner of fruits is talking about the zodiac. Now when you look up into the heavens, which is what John was looking up into, you actually have certain constellations of stars, which Esau today has like a circular wheel where he has the 12 signs, the so-called 12 signs of the zodiac. You know, and if you were born on this month, you're Capricorn. If you were born on this particular month, you're a Cancer or you're a Leo. And these are your traits and these are your characteristics, and you're this and you're that.
Yeah, water sign, fire sign.
Right, water signs and fire signs and earth signs and all that stuff, you know? Because that's what Esau worships. So when you look up into the heavens, those things that are up there, they were set up for healing. They were set up for signs. They were set up for seasons. They were set up for days, you know? But Esau took it, and the other nations took it, and they used it on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So read that again, brother.
It says, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits.
Right, those are the 12 zodiacs. Go ahead. So-called zodiac. Go ahead.
And yielded her fruit every month.
And yielded her fruit every month. So every month, the heavens declare certain things. Go ahead. That's what we read in Psalm 19, that day after day it showeth knowledge.
Right. In every month, you got a different so-called zodiac sign.
Yeah, yep.
You know? And then that's why brother, I don't advise you brothers not to get into that zodiac reading or whatever. All right? Because really a lot of it's just bullshit. It's just like the fortune cookie. They don't really have the knowledge of that. You know, they got certain stuff that might have been documented about. Maybe they might say certain things about, Leos or fire, whatever the case may be.
Right.
When they say, okay, this is going to happen to you today, because, that's all bullshit. That's just like the thing with the fortune cookie.
Yeah.
You know, some damn big fat old guy just writing a bunch of bullshit. So don't get all caught up into that. But we're just going into the edification of it, letting you know about the tree of life.
Right.
The tree of knowledge of good and evil.
That's right, because Esau is the one that gets it on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they have sacrifices on certain days.
Right.
You know, you got the Bohemian Grove. You know, they do that in the second week of July. And for the last 2 weeks in July, they gather in Sonoma County in California at the Bohemian Grove, and they go through a ritual. They run around the forest butt naked. They go through a ritual where they have a 40-foot owl, stone owl called Molech, and they burn a child. They actually sacrifice children. They say it's an effigy. It's not an effigy. They actually sacrifice children. Now there's something called a cremation of care. Now in the cremation of care, what they do is they actually sacrifice the child, and after they sacrifice the child, they so-called burnt care, or whatever the case was, and then what they say is, it's in midsummer. Now we are free again, something to that effect. So in other words, they made it through that ritual, so they got another year to go before they had to bring out the ritual again. So that's what we're going to read in the book of Isaiah about these things that they're doing, But what I want to do now is, was that it on Revelation 22:2?
Okay, let me
Read it again.
finish the verse. It says, verse 2, it says, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was it a tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
Right, that's where you got something called a farmer's almanac,
Right.
which lets you know if you're going to have a good crop this year or a bad crop, so on and so forth. All right, so what we're going to do now is we got a couple of web pages we're going to take a look at to show you a little more edification on this. And like the Elder Manatazak said, it ain't for you brothers to get into the zodiac. We're not doing this lesson for that. We're doing this lesson just to show you what the scriptures is talking about. In the kingdom, we're going to get all of that. Right now, your main focus is to learn the scriptures.
Right, which, if I may add,
yeah, brother,
is grabbing back hold to the tree of life.
That's right.
Which real quick before we go there,
okay,
I just want to bring one precept out since you said that. And this is in Revelation chapter 2, verse 7. It says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of the Most High. Right.
So in other words, when we get to the kingdom and we make it out of here, then you'll be able to eat and learn know all about that.
Right.
All right. But right now, your main focus is to learn the scriptures. So let's take a look at these couple of web pages real quick, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. So the first web page we're going to look into is here on Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, is dealing with astrological signs. All right. And as you can see here, I was telling you about the chart that they had, which is a round chart that has the 12 signs of the so-called zodiac on here. All right. Esau uses it on the left-hand side. But go ahead, brother. You can read that.
Because it says astrological signs represent 12 equal segments or divisions of the zodiac. According to astrology, celestial phenomena reflect or govern human activity on the principle of as above, so below.
Right, so it says astrological signs represent 12 equal segments or divisions of the zodiac. See, that's what, remember how the scripture said there's 12 manner of fruit? Well, it is true, there's 12 manner of fruit, but Esau uses it on the left-hand side.
Yep.
It says, according to astrology, which is the study of the stars, because the word astro comes from the Latin aster, which means star, and ology means the study, so the study of the stars. Celestial phenomena reflects or govern human activity on the principle of as above, so below. Now that term as above, so below is a Masonic and a witchcraft sign or phrase, term. Just like do as thou wilt. That's another one. There's many of these demonic signs. Stand upon the square. Can you help the widow's son or something to that effect? Right. So all of these are Masonic or witchcraft terms and symbols. Now that term as above, so below was goes back to this guy named Hermes Trismegistus. All right, which Hermes Trismegistus, basically all that is just a combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. All right, so those two combinations of them two gods together, that's where you get the term Hermes Trismegistus. And they both were what's the word I'm looking for? They both were into what they call writings and magic. All right, and so what happened was, it says they had this thing called the Emerald Tablet. Now on the Emerald Tablet, what they had was 13 sayings or 13 writings, right? And the second writing says, as it is above, or as it is below, so it is above. As it is above, so it is below. And this should be a miracle, something to that effect, for a miracle. So basically, that's where they got that term from. Now they say that so as above, so below, as below, so above. That's the top phrase for mysticism, you know, which is on the left-hand side again. So read on, brother.
It says, so that the 12 signs are held to represent 12 basic personality types or characteristic modes of expression. There are sun signs and moon signs, which both depend on your date of birth.
Right, go ahead.
Various approaches to measuring and dividing the sky are currently used by different systems of astrology. Although the tradition of the zodiac's names and symbols remain consistent, Western astrology measures from equinox and solstice points.
Right, which you got your summer equinox, your vernal equinox. The summer solstice,
right.
Winter solstice. You have your vernal equinox and your autumnal, which is fall equinox. All right, so now that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you, the point on the astrological signs and the zodiacs and what they use them for. And really, it goes deeper than that because it goes into witchcraft, which the term "as above, so below" represents that.
Right.
So you can know. Right. All right, now from there, I got this other web page called "The Lady of the Moon and the God and the Goatfoot God: Witchcraft and the Zodiac" by Carolyn Tully. So now this is a phrase by this guy Aleister Crowley, and this is what he said, and he basically is like a poem that he wrote. So you could read that, brother.
Okay.
And remember, Aleister Crowley is held very highly among these masons and witches, which pretty much the so-called white man is all into that. Their main thing is into witchcraft. All right, the occult and all that. But go ahead, brother.
It says, "Our Lady of the Moon, enchantment's queen, and of midnight the potent sorceress, O goddess from the darkest deep of time, Diana, Isis, Tanith, Artemis, your power we invoke to aid us here."
Right, now this is Doreen Valiente. But now this is the one that I was talking about right here. No, I mean I wanted to read that too, but read this one.
Right. Now this says, "Hear me, Lord of the stars, for thee I have worshipped ever, with stains and sorrows and scars."
Right. So basically, he was worshiping Satan.
Yep.
He's the Lord of the stars. That's Satan, old day star, which really that represents the so-called white man, Lucifer, which represents the so-called white man, but their God is Satan. Go ahead.
Right. It says, "Hear me, Lord of the stars, for thee I have worshipped ever, with stains and sorrows and scars, with joyful endeavor. Hear me, O lily white goat, crisp as thicket of thorns, with the collar of gold for thy throat, a scarlet bow for thy horns." Aleister Crowley.
Right. So basically, he wrote this poem, but this poem just shows you that he's they're into witchcraft. All right. Now read this paragraph here.
Right. It says, "The gods of witchcraft are a pair, a dual deity, a goddess and her consort, the god, or her consort, the god."
Right. So in other words, a goddess and the god. That's why the Romans worship who? Janus, the two-faced god. That's what they named January after. And in the Vatican, they have two keys. They call it the keys of Peter, but those are not the keys of Peter. Those are the keys of Sibyl and I forgot and Janus. I believe it's Janus, Sibyl and Janus. Just to make sure, I'll look it up and post it for you, brothers. But I believe it's the keys of Sibyl and Janus, which is a two-faced god. So that's what these devils worship. That's why the scriptures called the Roman Catholic Church the false prophet, because they worship these different deities and these different gods. But go ahead.
Right. It says, "Like the Chinese symbol of yin and yang, the goddess and god of witchcraft are complementary and inseparable, two sides of the one coin. This holy pair are often symbolized by such natural phenomena as the moon and sun, the earth and sky, or the human female, and the mythical goat-footed male."
Right, which is what? Baphomet.
Yep.
In which the goat of Mendes, because Baphomet is the androgynous god, both male and female. So the goat of Mendes, that's what they worship also. Go ahead. Or Pan. Go ahead.
In many modern witchcraft traditions, the goddess is envisaged as ruling the summer months of the year from the vernal, which is spring equinox, to the autumnal equinox, while the god rules the winter part of the year from the autumnal equinox to the vernal equinox.
Right, that's what they always say, Father Winter or something like that.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, "This assigned rulership gives us an indication of which zodiac signs are attributed to the god and goddess. Being a shapeshifter, the god this can manifest through each of the 12 zodiac signs.
Right. So in other words, they shapeshift through each zodiac sign. You know, the female takes on 6 and the male takes on 6, which is all bullshit, you know. But I'm just showing you this just to show you how important the zodiac is to these devils, you know, and worshiping these different deities and fake gods and goddesses.
And if I may add,
yeah,
really that's what a lot of all these religions are doing. They're worshiping the star, the sun, moon, and the stars.
Yep. And then some of them do it knowingly, some of them do it unknowingly, you know, because some of them don't know what's going on. They're just blindly following.
Yeah, following.
You know, but some of them know what they're doing.
And like you got, which comes to mind, you got amongst niggas, you got a sect called 5% Nation, or 5%ers. And that's why they always speak about the God. They're the nation of gods and goddess,
right?
Earths, kings and queens,
right? Wisdoms and all that.
Wisdom, you know, wisdom and all that stuff. They always speak about the sun, moon, and the stars, which basically that's what they do. They worship. You know, we're reading about them, which is really witchcraft. That's eating of the
tree of knowledge of
good and evil on the left hand side.
That's right. That's right. Then you got assholes like Eddie Long, Farrakhan. Price, you know, and all these different Joel Osteen, you know, and all these different TV evangelists, you know, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, the Cardinals, and all of them. They all worshiping and partaking of the tree of knowledge of good and evil on the left hand side. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so now it says however the two solstice points of Cancer and Capricorn are the specific celestial thrones. Astrology speaking, then, the goddess is signified by the sign of Cancer and the god by Capricorn.
Right, so that's pretty much it. We're not going to read anymore. Just to make a point, you know, on how important it is for these devils to worship the zodiac and these different gods and fake gods and goddesses, you know. Right. And the only reason why we bringing this stuff out is just for edification of you brothers out there, so you can know what the zodiac was talking about and the 12 manner of fruit. Now, in the scriptures, when you read about it, it's talking about the tree of life, you know, which is up in the heavens, which we're going to get in the kingdom, you know. But now they're using it on the left-hand side, which is the knowledge of good and evil.
Right, and that's why the Most High commanded us not to worship the star or the sun or the moon.
That's right.
He said, really, he said you should have no other God before thee.
That's right.
Because that's what throughout the years, especially, I mean, Esau's the devil anyway. But Jake always got into that, you know, because that was them trying to worship the zodiac and stuff like that, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil on the left hand side.
Right, because that's what the nations were worshiping. You know, that's what the Lord said. Don't mix up with them. Don't get involved in what they get involved in. All right, so let's go back, you know, to the scriptures to show you some more of this breakdown. All right, so as you can see, we just went through those web pages, you know, just to show you, you know, that these devils worship the left-hand side, which is a tree of knowledge of good and evil. So now from there, what I want to do is I want to go to the book of Ezekiel 28:3, because these devils, they've searched out everything. You know, these devils, they don't, there's nothing that can be hidden from them. That's the spirit that the Lord gave them to fulfill prophecy. Not because they're so smart and so wise, because if they were smart, they would understand their latter end, as the scriptures say. But they're not smart at all. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 3. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret, Salaki. It says, there is no secret that they can hide from thee. Right,
so they've searched out everything. Now go from there to Ezekiel 47:12. All right, because that's what these things are written for, so that we can know what it was talking about. So now that we dealing with this issue, you know, with the so-called zodiac, now you beginning to understand why Esau does the things that they do. You know, why the Most High said he's going to destroy them. I mean, outside of what you could actually see, there's things that they're doing in the dark and behind closed doors that the people are not seeing. And what's that? That's these rituals, they actually sacrifice actual people, actual children. That's why children go missing, because them devils are sacrificing them. Okay, because that's what their fake gods require in order for them to keep their kingdom going. But what they don't understand is that that's the Most High working on the left-hand side through the wicked angels to allow them to do that. And matter of fact, before you read that, brother, go to the book of Psalms, the 78th chapter. You know, because people probably, you said wicked angels. God ain't got wicked angels are cast out of heaven. What you talking about? That's another fable.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Go to Psalm 78 and 49, and I'm sure Elder Menadezag, maybe some of the other brothers will tackle them controversial topics like that.
Go
ahead, brother.
Okay, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 49. It says, He cast upon them the fierceness of His anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble, by sending evil angels among them.
That's right. So that was the Egyptians.
That's right.
You know, and when you read in the Apocrypha, it goes into them the evil apparitions and all this stuff that was coming to them. So the Most High was plaguing them damn Egyptians. So the Most High said He sent evil angels among them. So right now the evil angels, which are really on point, they don't go against the Most High. The Most High created them. The evil angels right now they're working with Esau on the left hand side. Matter of fact, let's continue on with Ezekiel 47 and 12 to go a little further into the so-called zodiac. You know.
Okay, Ezekiel chapter 47 verse 12. And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat,
right? Whose
leaf shall not fade.
Now that's twofold. That's talking about actual trees on the earth, and it's also talking about in the heavens. Go ahead. Which the tree in the heaven is a tree of knowledge of life, and then you have the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Which when you look up into the heavens, that's the tree of life because it's an order. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil is here on the earth because that's what man gets into, worshiping that wickedness. Go ahead.
It says, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed.
Go ahead.
It shall bring forth new fruit according to its month.
Right, it shall bring forth new fruit according to its month. Go ahead.
Because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat.
Right, and then when you read this whole chapter, it's talking about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, because it speaks about the waters coming up to the feet and coming up to the knees, coming up to the waist. That's talking about the knowledge. All right, and then when you read on down, that's talking about the zodiac. So-called, I say so-called zodiac because that's what Esau calls it.
Right.
It's really the 12 constellations in the heavens that were set up to give a certain knowledge of every month. You got something?
Yeah, and real quick too, and add on to what this brother's saying. Back to the tree of life again, which that's in the kingdom, but really the tree of life is this knowledge. Okay, now I'm gonna read the scripture, which the Most High took this thing away, the understanding of it.
Which I
I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun. I'm sorry. Hey man, I'm sorry, brother.
It's all the Spirit, brother.
I'm sorry, brother.
Now go ahead, you can bring it out.
Sorry, brother.
You can bring it out. Now go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna read it then.
You know, because that's part of what happened. You know. When Adam went off through Eve, then he knew about the tree. Then he knew about both sides.
Yeah.
But then he wanted to go back to the tree of knowledge, which we're not going to get to the kingdom.
Right.
Because if he was able to go back to the tree of knowledge, he would have been able to live forever.
Right.
But the Lord didn't want that, so He blocked it.
Right. Which that seal was broken with the Lord, Yahweh Shai.
Right.
And that's why every time the Lord say, he that believe on me should never die.
That's right. That's right.
Because why? He was the way back to the knowledge of life, you know. But at Genesis 3, and I was going to start at 22. You want me to start at?
Yeah, I got 22. You can read that.
Okay.
22 to 24.
You got 22 too. Okay.
Yeah.
So Genesis chapter 3, verse 22. It said, "And the Lord power said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, at least he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever."
That's right.
Right? Which meaning what? Yeah. Which if you, because the scriptures say if you do the law and everything, then you was gonna live forever.
That's right.
But if you broke the laws or whatever, then you had to, basically you was gonna die. Yeah. You know. So basically, but not even just the law, but the whole understanding of this thing. So basically, like the Elder Rama said, the Most High blocked that thing. because it was set up for us to go off anyway. When we read the scripture earlier, what was it, Romans 8? The creature was made subject to vanity unwillingly, because the Most High had already set it up that we was going to go off anyway.
Right.
All right? Which that's how you become perfect.
That's right, knowing both sides.
Knowing both sides,
That's why it
man.
says in the Apocrypha that the Lord showed man both good and evil.
Right.
You know, because now when we judge in the kingdom, when we judge, we know both sides. So that's why the angels are able to judge. That's why he said, it's going to say it. Go ahead, read that again.
It says, and the Lord power said, behold, the man has become as one of us. Which footnote let you know that, because when we read it in certain points, especially in the first chapter, and when it says in the Lord God, it really says in the Hebrew, Elohim.
Right, Yahweh Elohim.
Yahweh Elohim, which is the Most High, and then Elohim is the powers or the angels.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why it says, and the Lord God said, behold, the man has become as one of us, because it was actually the angels speaking. All right, but it says, behold, the man has become as one of us to know good and evil.
Yep, because the angels know both sides. Go ahead.
And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
And take the tree of life and eat and live forever. Meaning go back to the righteousness, you know, and eat and live forever. Which the forever part was what, 1,000 years.
Yep.
That's why the scriptures speak about in Revelation the 20th chapter that they're gonna live and reign with Yahweh 1,000 years. All right, that's the forever part. And then they're just gonna be translated. That's where the Lord was able to translate Enoch. He was able to translate Elijah,
right.
And the Most High was able to translate them. And that's what's going to happen. You know, Melchizedek, you know. So the bottom line is we're going to live 1,000 years, and then we're just going to go right back up into the spirit world, and then the Lord will send us back down. All right? So go ahead, brother.
It says, therefore the Lord power sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken.
Right, so now from that point on, man had to work to be able to plant and all that. But prior to that, you didn't have to work. You didn't have to plant or none of that, because the Lord would cause a dew to come up and water the garden, and the fruits would grow automatically from that. You know, from the lights of the moon and the stars and the sun. Actually, the moon and the sun. You know. Go ahead.
It said,
but now man has to actually physically labor. You know, not the white man. They just sit behind a desk. I'm talking about physical labor where you sweating. You got to wipe your brow. You know, like Jake always does.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hell, like we be doing this shit.
Right.
Early, before we did the show, we was working, man.
Yep.
When the one store before we got here to get something to eat, they said, "Oh, you just coming home from work?"
Yeah.
Dumb bitch. Well, that's what happened right here. It says, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims.
Right, which the cherubims are angels. The word cherubim means mighty ones. So he placed angels at the read that part again.
It says, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword.
Right, and a flaming sword, which wasn't an actual sword, but when you see when Moses, when the Lord gave the vision to Moses, he actually saw angels or cherubims, which are angels, with flaming swords in their hands. Sort of like when you watch that movie Thor. You know, that Jake, they had him, he was like the angel, he was standing there, he was all girded, he had the sword.
Oh, yeah,
He was basically what he was. He
gatekeeper.
Was the gatekeeper, right?
Yeah.
From one world to the other. That's what they saw. Two angels or angels like that, you know, Jake angels with the sword standing, you know, to guard the tree of knowledge. Go ahead.
And not to go too far, but then that's why John, when the Lord was showing the elder John about the book, and he said he wept.
Right, because no man was able to
open it. Yep. Because that's back to where the Most High basically blocked it off. So that's why Jake was going off. You know, the scripture said, "From Adam we sinned,
right,
and we all died."
That's right. That's right.
It says, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
Right, that's why we're not able to go back to I mean, we're getting the knowledge now, you know, but we can't get the whole thing yet to the kingdom.
Yep.
And that's when we're going to live forever.
And to add, see, in the Most High, what to tell you, well, it just said it too, or in the scripture in Romans, it said, the creatures made subject unto vanity, not willingly, but unwillingly, by the same if I may, if I can read it real
read
quick
it again.
again.
Read it again.
Just want to bring it out again. Because in other words, the Most High said that ain't mean that the angel was going to always be there blocking that the tree of life and the way back to the tree of life.
Right.
That was just for a time, for an age, or for a season, so to speak.
Right. That's why when you go back to the book of Isaiah, the 6th chapter, the Lord set up an actual angel that blinds certain Israelites that they can't get this truth, so that they won't be delivered because they're not part of the elect. And certain ones He allows to get the knowledge so that they can be delivered.
That's right.
So that angel that's blocking the tree of life, there's 2/3 of Israel that's not going to get it.
Right.
But then the 1/3 and the 144,000, they'll get it. You know why? Because the angel, you have actual angel that'll give you the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding, open up your mind, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, using them to open up your mind to be able to see these things. So it's actually them coming to sup with you.
Right. Good. This is the book of Romans 8:20 again. It says, "For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of Him who has subjected the same in hope."
Right, and what hope is that? The hope of deliverance. Delivered. To go back to that righteous state. That's what we desire. You know, we don't want to be here. We desire to be in the kingdom, to have the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, so that we can do righteousness all the time. You know, won't have no wicked thoughts. You won't get tired. You know, you'll be vibrant.
Yeah, totally righteous.
Totally righteous. You know?
Like the Lord, that was the whole purpose of Yahushua.
Yahushua came. I mean, He was in the flesh. He got weak, but He was perfect.
He was perfect.
Yep.
Which made Him, allowed Him to be a mediator
between
us and the Father.
Right.
So that we could get back to that tree of life. And that we could live forever, as the elder was saying earlier.
Right, because that understanding was blocked.
Yep.
And then when you go up to the time of Daniel, as a matter of fact, get that, Daniel 12:4. Then when you go up to the time of Daniel, the Lord caused the book, because the books were being written. You know, but the Lord caused the book to be sealed unto the time of the end. Go ahead, brother.
Right, Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book."
Right, shut up the words and seal the book. What book? The Bible. So it was sealed, meaning what? You can read it, but you won't be able to understand it.
Right, the angels
there blocking it. You know, that's why in that movie, The Book of Eli, when that Gary Oldman finally got the Bible, what was wrong with the Bible? It was blocked. It was locked. So he couldn't open it. You know, I mean, just to give you like a little example. But then when he did open it, it was written in Braille, so he still couldn't read it or understand it. You know, so the Bible today, we have it. You can open it, you can read it, but a lot of people don't understand it. So now read on.
It says, "Until the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Right,
now go from there to the book of Colossians chapter 1 verse 25, because now we're starting to get the understanding of these scriptures, and then after that you get Revelation 5. But read that real quick.
Okay. All right, this is the book of Colossians chapter 1 verse 25. It says, "Whereof I am made a minister according to the dispensation of the Most High, which is given to me for you, to fulfill the word of the Most High, even the mystery which have been hid from ages."
Right, even the mystery that has been hid from ages. So, but now we're getting it back. Now, through the men that were before us, that taught us, now we're getting that ancient wisdom back. The words of life, or the words of salvation. You know? That's why Yahushua had to come on the earth, shed His precious blood, go back to the Heavenly Father, so that He could open up the mysteries of the Bible to us, so that we can be saved. Go ahead, brother.
It says, "Even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to His saints."
Right, now it's made manifest to His saints, beginning with His prophets, which you have the 144,000 and the 1/3, which are all prophets. Now go from there to Revelation the 5th chapter, and you can start at the 1st verse, and then give me Luke the 24th chapter.
Revelations 5 and 1?
Yep, read on down.
Okay, it says, Revelation chapter 5 verse 1. "And I saw in the right hand of Him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside."
That was the Bible. Go ahead.
sealed with 7 seals.
Sealed with 7 seals doesn't mean that it had 7 locks on it. It means that it was completely sealed. You weren't able to, you could open the book, but you weren't able to understand. That understanding did not come until Abba Bivens, the Lord opened the mind of Abba Bivens to bring the truth out, to bring it to us. And that's why we're able to understand it. That's why you can't just pick up the Bible and read and understand and find out you're an Israelite. You have to have a teacher that teaches you. You know? And to really understand the mysteries, you have to have a teacher. Go ahead, brother.
Right, come. It says, and I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book?
Right, go ahead.
And to loose the seals thereof. And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book.
Right, so no man was able to break it down, or open up and break the mysteries down. So he was crying, because he knew that if the book wasn't opened and the seals weren't taken away, we wouldn't be able to receive salvation. Go ahead.
Neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David,
which is Yahushua, go ahead,
hath prevailed to open the book.
Right, because he shed his blood. And then when he shed his blood, then he was able to make the mysteries known. Because prior to that, even the disciples that were with him, they didn't understand. When he spoke to the people, he spoke to them in parables, which is mysteries. If you don't have the understanding of the scriptures, you're not going to be able to be delivered. The beginning with the name of Yahweh, is the Most High, the name of Yahushai, you know, and the mysteries. Go ahead.
And to loose the 7 seals thereof.
Right, and to loose the 7 seals thereof, meaning to completely open up the mysteries, which are given, you know, a little at a time, but now it's coming full force. That's why Yahushua said, he that believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Yep.
You got more on that? Well, that was the main point. All right,
yep.
go to Luke 24, and it's around the 43rd verse, I believe it is. I'll give you the verse right now. Luke 22.
Oh, 22?
I'm sorry, 24, my bad. 24 and 44. This is after Yahushua rose and came to the disciples and was sitting with them, and he ate a fish. He ate boiled fish, I believe it was, and honey, which was one of the main dishes he loved. Go ahead, brother.
Luke chapter 24, verse 44. And he said unto them,
444.
Yeah, come. These are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you.
Right, so he's explaining to them everything that he was going through. He was telling them what he was going through, but they still didn't understand it. Go ahead.
That all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses.
Right, so he fulfilled everything. That's why he said, think not that I have come to destroy the law. I am not come to destroy it, but to fulfill. Go ahead.
And in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me.
So he was going and explaining to them the scriptures going back to the Old Testament, things that were written of him. That's why I said, for lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. Go ahead.
Then opened he their understanding.
Then opened he their understanding. So when he spoke to them these things, because he had already went to the Father, shed his blood, was in the tomb, and came back. Then he opened to them their understanding. Go ahead.
Right. It says, then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures.
That they might understand the scriptures. So that's why he did everything that he did, to be able to break the seals, which were the mysteries, and then reveal it to them. And then from that point, he made Peter the head, and then from that point, that's where the knowledge that we have today came from. Is there more?
Nah, that's
okay. That's the main point. All right, you had something?
Yeah, but nah, this ain't. It ain't.
All right, go from there to the Apocrypha, the book of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, and start around the 10th verse to the 14th verse. That's why the prophets are here today, to teach you, brothers, you know, about the tree of righteousness, the good tree, the tree of good. You know, Now we know both sides, but now we're coming back to the tree of life. All right?
Yeah,
ahead,
full circle, 360.
That's right.
All right, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sake I made the world.
That's right. So the Lord made the world for our sakes. Go ahead.
Right. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done.
Right. That's why you have all this wickedness in the world, because the world started falling from this righteous state at that point. Go ahead.
Then were the entrances of this world made narrow.
Right, because before the entrance was wide. You know, we had everything with us back then.
Right.
But then everything got closed smaller. That's what the scriptures say, that the straight is the way and narrow is the way that leadeth unto eternal life.
Yeah.
And few there be that go in thereat. Go ahead.
It says, then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and short. Right,
the entrances of the elder world were wide and short. That's why you can't. That's why the majority of Israel is not going to get it today. Only the elect. Go ahead.
Right. It says, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things.
Right. So we have to labor to enter these straight and what?
Vain things.
And vain things. That's why we do what we do.
Right.
You know, catching hell.
Right.
You know, laboring, also talking about, you know, studying, going out to the camps, doing lessons, teaching, you know.
Yeah.
So if we didn't go through all those things, we wouldn't be able to get to the kingdom.
Right. And then that's why I said in 1 Corinthians, it pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe.
That's right.
Because y'all, well, in a sense, we do look foolish when we do it.
Yeah.
But guess what? It pleased the Most High.
That's how He pleases to do things.
Yeah.
You know, because He takes the things that are despised in this world,
right,
to confound the things that are wise.
Yep.
You know. Go ahead, brother.
It says, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them.
Right, and that's what's laid up for us. That's what there's treasures laid up for us.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what the Lord said, that gather not for yourself treasures on earth where moth and rust is corrupt, but lay up treasures for yourself in heaven. You know, so by you doing these things that you're doing, then the Most High, that's put into your spiritual bank account. You know, and then when the time comes for the Lord to bring His wrath, He may remember mercy in that day. You know. So now go from there to 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter, and the 26th verse. So that's why we're going through what we're going through, and we're conveying the same thing to you brothers out there, so that when these things come upon you, like Peter said, that you don't think it a strange thing concerning the fiery trial that is to try you, as if some strange thing happened. Because it's going to happen. It's in the scriptures. We're telling you, we're living proof. We've gone through it. Some of you brothers have gone through it. You know, so we're teaching you and giving you that. And on the other side, we're teaching you the truth. You know, and getting you prepared for what's coming. Go ahead, brother.
Right, 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 26. Then answered he me, and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteth fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities.
Right, that's why we have to try to walk the straight and narrow, so to speak. Go ahead.
It says, but as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come.
Right, the evil is sown, but the destruction is not yet come. That's why it says that the heart of man is setting them to do wickedness, because the Most High doesn't bring judgment right away on you. You know? Go ahead.
That's right. It said, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down.
Right, if that which is sown, because what's sown today? Witchcraft, wickedness, faggotism, lesbianism, you know? You got the horoscopes, you got, you know, the Masons, you know, you got these different religions.
Yep.
You got these pedophiles, You know, these Catholic priests that are popping these little boys. You know, so you got all this demonic stuff out there. So if that's not turned upside down, go ahead.
Right. It says, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good.
Right, because eventually the Most High is going. First, the Lord is revealing it with His mouth. Then He's going to destroy it with the brightness of His coming. Then the good is going to come, which is the kingdom. Go ahead.
For the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam.
Right, the grain of evil seed has been sown in the mind of Adam. That's why we have it all the way up until this day. And from that point till now, evils have multiplied on the earth, especially when Esau took over. Go ahead.
Right, it says, for the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness have it brought up into this time?
That's right, go ahead.
And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come?
Go ahead.
Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed have brought forth. And when the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill?
Right, because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies in that day. Go ahead.
Then I answered and said, how? And when shall these things come to pass?
Okay, that's it on that.
All
now
right.
go from there to Ephesians 4 and 22, because now that you're coming out of that world, that the tree, because the tree of knowledge of good has been cut off, but now it's opened back up through Yahweh Shai. Now we're coming back, and the Lord is building back the tabernacles of David that is fallen, as in the days of old. So He's building it up. He's bringing His teachers. He's bringing His prophets. He's bringing His apostles. He's bringing His men, His mighty men, and His teachers back to getting things back in order, so to speak. Go ahead.
Ephesians chapter 4 verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man.
Right, that's where you got to leave that out the door. That's all that shit you used to do in the past. You got to throw that shit out the door, you know, and become a new man. Go ahead.
Right, it says that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
Right, now you're starting to come back to the Lord. Go ahead.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
Right, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. In other words, you put off the old thinking and the old man, and you put on the new man, and you try to do the right thing. I mean, you're gonna go off here and there because we all still go off. That's why we need to be saved and we need to be delivered. But you try to walk that path to the best of your ability. Go ahead.
It says, "And that ye put on the new man, which after the Most High is created in righteousness and true holiness."
Which after the Most High is created in righteousness and true holiness. Now go from there to 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. All right, we got a couple more scriptures. You know, we're gonna end the lesson in a couple of minutes. You know, just got a couple more verses here. 1 Corinthians 2, 6 to 7, and a couple more precepts, and then we're gonna close out.
All right, this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 6. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of the Most High in a mystery,
Right.
even the hidden wisdom which the Most High ordained before the world unto our glory.
Right, and that's what we're getting now. Now go from there to Hebrews 12 and 23. So we're getting that, we're speaking wisdom among them that are perfect, that are being made perfect. Hebrews 12 and 23.
Right, come. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 23. To the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to the power, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect.
Right, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. Now go back to Ephesians 4 and 10. So the spirits of just men that are being, the men, you brothers that's coming in now, you brothers are some of those just men that are being made perfect. Because you're part of the elect. You're part of the 144,000 and the 1/3. You know, some of you brothers, you know, whatever the gift the Lord gave you, you got to use that gift to the best of your ability. All right, so Ephesians 4 and 10 to 16.
Come. It says, he that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things.
That's talking about Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors.
Right. So the Lord gave each, you know, he gave the different men, the different teachers, he gave them different gifts. Go ahead.
And there are lots.
And there are lots. That's right.
It says, and teachers for the perfecting of the saints.
For the perfecting of the saints. So what was it done for? To perfect the saints, so that we can go out here and teach the word, and the Lord can gather his elect and get them ready for what's coming. Go ahead.
For the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahushua.
Yep, go ahead. For the edifying of the body of Yahushua. So these men were set up for what? For the edifying of the body of Yahushua, which is what? Which is the men that the Lord set up from the beginning, that he sealed. Go ahead.
Till we all come in the unity of the faith, yep, and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Yahushua.
Right, so we come to that fullness. That's what we're doing. We're learning, constantly teaching. You brothers out there constantly learning, constantly teaching. You know, getting into it, you know, breaking down scriptures, getting, you know, making shows, you know, doing all types of lessons, going out on the streets, cursing this devil out, cursing these false prophets out, for the perfecting of the saints. Go ahead.
That we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro.
Right, because you got certain guys that listen to these people, they listen to this group, they listen to that group, they listen to us, and then they get confused. And they bug out. Yeah,
and they come back to us all scrambled up and everything.
Right.
You know, and after we done warned them about that, right?
Yeah.
Then they get all their mind all messed up.
Right.
Then they start, you know, like the scripture say, they start throwing up the knowledge that they have learned.
Hey, well, you know what? A perfect example of that is Batak. The reason why we're using him as an example is because you brothers out there in YouTube world, so to speak, you know who he is.
Yeah,
see, we have many other examples, but some of them guys you brothers might not know.
Right.
So to give you an example that you understand, him, Batak, you know, he was running top speed, you know, getting down on brothers, making them do push-ups that they got questions wrong. And what happened? He was running so fast that he just threw up.
Yep.
You know? You don't want that. You know, so right now the men that's out here teaching, they're teaching for the perfecting of the saints. Go ahead, brother.
Right. It says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie and wait to deceive.
Right. Then you got these false prophets out here that lie and wait to deceive, like Gehenna, Zabak, Bubble-eyed Blackfish, Nate, Satan. And we don't bite our tongue. When we talk about somebody, we telling you who we talk about.
Right.
We name names. And, like Yahushua and the disciples and the prophets did.
That's right.
You had something to say?
Yeah, no. Like I mentioned in the other shows, the only difference is because you niggas before any of these so-called issues against this camp and that camp,
right? You
niggas was always talking shit about us.
Yep.
Okay, this video, I watch it and then you like, oh shit. You're not like, man, he talking about us. You know, they had the thing about the Cornelius, they used to make jokes about it or whatever amongst themselves. But the only thing that's different, we ain't like you bitches, man. We got something against you, we call you niggas names out, man.
That's right, that's right.
All right, we don't sit there and play that subliminal game and talk, because you guys were talking about us already, which we don't care, man. All right, but basically, like we said in the other show, you're not coming against us. You're coming up against the Lord, man. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Hey, he that despiseth not men, but Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Who have sent us, man.
That's right, that's right.
All right, regardless of what you say, how many videos you try to put up, all right, and at the end of the day, y'all faggots know what time it is, man.
That's right.
You know the Most High ain't dealing with you. You just got them well, to all call them zombies, them little brainless little idiots that follow you. They don't know. But the ones that been around, such as Gehenna, Nathaniel 7, Zabat, Bubble-eyed Blackfish, the Discomforter, they know the deal, man. They know how things were back in the days, man.
That's right. All
right, and we're the only group, and that's why the Elder Tar says that GMS got the truth. All right, 100% truth. And any other brother that's teaching what we teaching, then they got the truth.
That's right.
All right, 100% truth. But we're teaching the same exact doctrine that was taught back then. But the Lord expounded and revealed even more things to us throughout the years, man.
Yeah. And you guys are basically, you're emasculated.
Yeah.
You know, you become like women.
Yeah.
All right, let's go from there to Ezekiel 38, 36, and 8.
All right.
You know, and like I said, we got another one scripture after that, and then, you know, finish up in Ezekiel 36, and we're going to close the lesson.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 8.
Yep.
But ye, O mountains of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come.
Right, so that's why we out here teaching and giving the fruit to the Israelites out there that are part of the elect. All right, so you have the example of the fruit in the heavens, which is a tree of knowledge of good, and now you have the example on the earth, which is the prophets teaching the fruits or the tree of knowledge of good again to you brothers out there, the ones that are part of the elect. Go ahead. Oh, matter of fact, I'm sorry. Go to Jeremiah 3:15,
okay,
and then we're going to go back to Ezekiel 36. All right, and then we're going to close out on that. So Jeremiah 3:15. So you brothers can get a better understanding of what the tree of knowledge of good and evil is, and what the tree of knowledge of good is. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Right, and you see the pastors, GMS are the pastors that's feeding you with knowledge and understanding. Now you do have, you may have a handful of other brothers out there that don't follow GMS, that are not members of GMS, that are teaching the truth. You know, and if that's the case, we can't knock them brothers.
Right.
You know, because just because you don't call yourself GMS don't mean you're not teaching the truth. But you have to be teaching the truth the way we're teaching it.
Right.
You know, the breakdowns that we're breaking down. You know, and you do have brothers out there that do that. You know, they'll say, look, I'm not affiliated with GMS, but blah, blah, you know?
Right, and because the thing is, I'm going to quote what this brother once said. He told this guy, said, look, if you're part of the elect,
right,
we don't have no problem with you.
That's right.
All right, if you're part of the elect. If you're not part of the elect,
that's
then
right, basically
fuck you. Now, if there's any elect scattered amongst Gehenna,
right,
Nate, Satan, Zabat, if there's any guys that are, guess what?
The Lord's going to pluck them out.
Most sides going to deliver them from you niggas, and they're going to be with us anyway, man. All right?
That's right.
Because we don't got no problem with the elect. It's just you wicked ass niggas that are sitting there teaching lies and heresies, all right, and that's sold out. All right? And the Most High, and further than us, the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, got a problem with you, General Gehenna, Nathaniel 7, Bubble-Eyed Blackfish, Comfy, Zabat, Nate Satan, and the rest of you guys who go off and teach a different doctrine other than what's in the scriptures, man.
Yep.
All right. And matter of fact, speaking of the discomforter, where the fuck is he at, man? All right. Which that's the Most High, or Yahweh Shem Yahushai, basically don't put him down, man. And that's gonna happen to the rest of you guys, man. All right. It's all a matter of time, man.
All right, let's go back to Ezekiel 36 and 9 to 12, and then we're going to end the lesson on that.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 9. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown, and I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it.
Right, so that's the men of the Lord coming back. Go ahead.
And the city shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be builded, and I will multiply upon you man and beast.
Right, it's talking about all the tabernacle of David coming back. Go ahead.
And they shall increase and bring fruit. And I will settle you after your old estates.
And I will settle you after your old estates. That's why it says in the book of Amos that the Lord shall build up the ruins of David as in the days of old. And it says in Haggai that the end of the house is going to be greater than the beginning.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, settle, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings.
And do better to you than at your beginnings. Go ahead. See, this is all the plans of the Most High to do all these things, so He can set everything back up into its proper order. Go ahead.
And ye shall know that I am the Lord. Yea, I will cause men to...
Right, because you're not going to be giving honor and homage to the name Yahweh,
right,
or the name Yeshua, or the name Jehovah, or the name
Allah,
Yahushua, or Allah, or none of them other false names that they call the Most High. Yeah. You're going to give honor, and you're going to know that it's Yahweh. You people out there, you're going to know that the Most High's name is Yahweh, and that His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. Yep. You're going to bow to those names. You know, all these false... The Lord said that even these false gods are going to bow to Him when He comes back. Go ahead, brother. Like He made the statue of Dagon fall before the Ark of the Covenant. and break up in pieces. Go ahead, brother.
Right. It says, yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance. It says, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men. Thus saith the Lord power, because they say unto you, thou land devours up men, and has bereaved thy nations.
Right, that's good. All right, so pretty much that's talking about the Israelites coming back, the elect first and foremost, and going back into the kingdoms, being settled back into our land. So that's the tree of knowledge of good that the Lord is bringing forth now. So now you brothers know what the tree of knowledge of good and evil is, which is the left-hand side, you know, which is the so-called zodiac and the prognostications and all that. You know, which we didn't have a chance to go into Isaiah 47, but you brothers can read Isaiah, the 47th chapter, where it speaks about them being wearied in the multitude of their counsels. Right. Because right now they're trying to fight their hardest to try to save their kingdom, but it's not going to happen. They can pray to Satan, they can pray to these demons, Baphomet, and all these different spirits and evil spirits, but they're not going to hold their kingdom up. Because the Most High gave them a time to rule, and now it's time for them to go down. And it's time for our people to come up now, the Israelites, you know, to be raised back up into power, and to set righteousness back in the earth, and to put down the wickedness, and to set everything back in a proper order. All right? So with that, you know, we hope that you brothers learned something, and Lord's will, we catch you on the next round.
That's right.
Shalom.
Shalom.